was a typo, and I'm like, welcome to Comics League Movie Night. I'm Jared. I'm here with Robert. What's up, man?
I'm feeling not so stupid after this.
Yeah, so today we are talking about the Supergirl movie from 1984, the Helen Slater one.
Now, I will say, I get this out of the way. As bad as this is, we still seen a lot worse super products.
Well, yeah, because Superman 4 came out after this. But here's the thing about this. So there's a very specific reason why I titled, and what's up, Cameron? There's a very specific reason why I titled this stream this way. Because here's what you guys have to understand about this movie. This performing the way it did and for doing what it did contributed to why we didn't get Superman movies forever.
Yep. Until returns.
Until returns, exactly. So it's like, that's why I titled it this way. Because otherwise it's like, and here's the thing. You may be wondering, Jared, is Supergirl as bad as people say it is? And the answer is yes.
Yes, it is.
The answer is very yes. But it's better than Superman 4, which that in and of itself is not that high of a bar.
No, I would say this. 4 at least still has Reeves and Hackman and Kidder putting in something of a performance.
Yeah, and the other thing about it, so this thing, like, so the thing.
How is it? Helen Slater. Oh, no, can we say one thing? Helen Slater as Supergirl, perfect.
Yep, she got it for, and she was actually 18 at the time when she filmed this. So I'm like, oh,
yeah, she got it, and I love her performance of being this naive girl.
And I also love, by the way, so my dad knows I hate Lois. So when he heard, oh, this is Miss Lane, he looked at me and he goes, oh, really? And I go, it's her sister.
Ah,
it's her sister. But it's like, and
so wait a minute. You didn't mean the one with all the kids that she said she'd go bananas if she was being like her?
Yeah, exactly.
Your 2 kids and a mortgage. Yeah.
Yeah. So so the other thing about this thing is like, okay, so the plot of this movie is it's still Kandor, right?
Argo City.
Oh yeah, Argo City.
Not Kandor.
Argo, by the way, I 3D printed a BBS battering. So Argo City was so the movie starts off on Argo City. It's separated from Krypton already, and I'm like,
which I get partially why they don't explain it, because that would be more.
Well, the other thing, here's the other problem. A big problem with this movie, if you will. It's that, all right, the other problem with this movie, Robert, is when you look at, is they already, so did Krypton already blow up because they already say that, like, Jor-El sent his cousin to Earth? How would they know where he sent Kal-El to? And Robert's having internet issues. Legion says, the last time I emerged from a pond, I was wearing a Supergirl miniskirt. No idea where it came from. That's the other thing too, Legion. Because when you're watching this movie, it's like she changes costumes way too crazy. Yeah. So Robert, it's like, yep. How do they know where Jor-El sent Kal?
First of all, I got cut off. I'm pretty sure I got cut off with what I was trying to say. Was that sorry again? Whenever my phone calls, it cuts off everything.
Okay.
But basically, they and let's be honest. I get what they were going for. They couldn't show Krypton and everything and show the blow up. Not with the budget they had.
Yeah.
There was no way they were doing it. So just cutting to it where Argo City is already existing. That's one thing. But yeah, they needed to show, at least have us see Supergirl's father.
Yeah. Oh, and we kind of did, by the way, but it wasn't identified by Legion. No, here's my problem with that. The city's already separated, so it's like, wait a minute, did Krypton already blow up?
Well, again, that's what I'm saying. I understand why they've already skipped to this is well after Krypton blew up, and they've been operating on their own. I get that, because even when we saw Supergirl the first time, that's what happened. Argo City just existed.
But again, but my point on this is I'm just like, look, they need to at least say like, oh, we saw when Krypton blew up, we saw Kal-El
Oh yeah,
or something like that. Just say that.
yeah. They needed something like. I agree.
Because then it's like, where the hell is this coming from?
Exactly. I agree with you on that one.
And then it's like, so there's this, so the Omega Hedron is like this orb that powers the entire city. Also, here's the thing. So it gets sucked out into space. And here's the thing about this. They say that that everyone will die in 3 days. Kara is definitely gone for more than 3 days.
And here's the other thing. At least in the comics, Argo was doomed.
Yeah.
Like it collapsed on itself because of a meteorite that rips open its bottom, exposing all the kryptonite. So at least Supergirl became the last survivor, not this.
Is that in the Tom King book?
No. No. I'm talking about the original pre-crisis.
Oh, really?
This has always been her origin. Argo City. Okay. Sit in, boys and girls.
Yeah.
Time for a lesson.
Professor Robert's about to teach you something.
I'm going to school you all. Okay. So, like Argo City in the pre-crisis, Supergirl's origin goes like this. When they knew about Krypton's destruction, so the entire of Argo City, thanks to Zor-El, they put up this dome that allows them to survive the explosion and actually get rocketed off. Yeah, this is so pre-crisis super science, and they existed on their own. Supergirl allowing Kara to grow up fine until a meteorite ripped the lead-lined bottom. Apparently there was lead on Krypton and exposed them all to the kryptonite. As the city was dying, Zor-El and Allura put young Kara into a rocket and sent it off to Earth to be. And during all this time, Supergirl used their super telescope to check in on Earth and see Kal-El grow up.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, they were sent all the way there, and she was sent in her normal outfit, but like Kryptonian outfit. But when she arrived, she was in her Supergirl outfit.
Yeah, in this, it's like
so there is a lot of the elements here. Let's be honest; they got a lot of it right.
Yeah, but the other part is like she's not in the suit when she gets in the pod, and I guess they show like some red and yellow thing in the pod. I guess that kind of explains it. But it's like
I said that happened in the book too.
But here's what's not in there that I don't get. So when she discovers the field hockey game and something like that. So she walks out of the woods. As she passes trees, her clothing changes.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
I'm like, what the hell is that?
Now, one thing I will always I love is that they portray Supergirl as flying like a ballerina.
Mm-hmm.
And they made that work.
Mm-hmm.
They actually gave some very interesting flying that was unique to her.
Yeah. It's like, I like when they do that. It's like, they even do that occasionally with Wonder Woman where like she flies. I mean, even in New 52, she flew like this, which I thought was really cool. But wait to you choose. No, I know, but she at least twirls. She does something. She doesn't just walk and then the clothing changes.
Yeah, it just vibrated.
I know. I'm just like, what the heck?
I agree. Again, they had to take so many shortcuts because of the budget. And I will say it, I do believe the villain was one of the Supergirl comic villains. But again, we're talking pre-crisis.
Yeah, okay. So it's like, but it's like for Supergirl in Supergirl's movie, I would not have done the magic thing.
I agree.
And then it's like all of a sudden she's fighting like this dragon thing. I'm like, the hell is this thing?
And Jimmy shows up because they didn't want to hire Reeves.
Well, the other thing that's kind of funny, yeah, it's like it firmly establishes that this is it. They see the poster for Superman the movie pretty much, and it's like, yeah, it's real.
Yeah, but they do have Jimmy there, so and it's the same Jimmy.
Yep. So that's 100% in there,
and that works because let's be honest, Jimmy did appear in Supergirl a lot.
Yeah, exactly. Or in My Adventure with Superman, he was her love interest for some weird reason.
Pre-crisis, he was.
Oh, really? Interesting.
They were a thing pre-crisis. Either when it wasn't Lucy, it was and it was Kara.
Oh, so that's what that crappy CW show was trying to do.
It was playing off of that.
Wow. Wow, that is just like that is BS.
And that's the other thing, if it was for Kara, if it wasn't Jimmy, and if it wasn't Comet, I'm kidding, not really. It was Brainiac 5.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I see. But yeah, but it's like so and this movie also involves the like love potion thing on that one guy that falls in love with Linda Lee. It was a pre-crisis like secret identity of Kara, I believe.
But again, the fact she comes up with this without because they couldn't use Reeves, they obviously that I don't blame them for. They were railroaded there.
No, I got that. Well, here's the other thing that you guys should know about this movie. This whole movie exists because the Salkinds were pissed off at the production company.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the first thing I want to say. That's the first part.
And then the Salkinds eventually would then do Superboy.
Yeah, exactly. And that didn't work out well. But it's like
it worked out at least decently well.
Yeah, but the thing about and this is what I always tell people, that the thing you have to understand about these movies at this point, when people talk about how like Reeves is the only version of Superman that should ever exist, here's the thing. He's playing the pre-crisis Superman. He's very clearly playing the pre-crisis Superman. Except they do put an emphasis on the Clark Kent side. Just one as the one variation.
But they make him even still a milksop.
Well, yeah, exactly. And they do put a lot of emphasis on Krypton and stuff. But it's like, it's the same thing with Kara. Whereas if they did, can you imagine if they tried to do the live action post-crisis origin for Kara? Oh, God.
Too complicated, too complicated.
Dark side!
No. I'm talking, if we're talking about post-crisis, I'm thinking that would be the Matrix stuff.
Oh, no. I'm saying if they actually did Kara. Matrix is like beyond that.
I know. Well, but yeah, that's true. But remember, that won't be until 2006. So I'm thinking if you're trying to think about during the 80s and 90s, the only thing you would have would be Matrix.
Yeah, exactly. That's the problem. Oh, boy, Cameron says, I remember seeing clips of Superboy. And my shock and disappointment, it was not about Khan. Oh, yeah.
Well, yeah, because Khan didn't exist.
He wasn't a character. Superman had not even died yet in the comics when these movies were coming out.
But trust me, Superboy, though, is a good show, dude. I would highly recommend it.
I may check it out. But
it's definitely one of the Salkinds' better stuff.
Yeah, exactly. No,
like I said,
and Legion, I know that. My point is there are people on Twitter, at least, that say that this is the way Superman should be characterized, period.
No.
Just want to be clear that that's what I was more talking about.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like those people are like, no, is DC saved by the bell? Okay, cool. I'll check that out. But yeah, but with this, it's like, look, here, the other problem about this is like, it doesn't seem like a Supergirl plot. If anything, it feels like it would be like a Zatanna thing. Again, the magic. But
that did happen. But that did happen in her old comic.
I know, but it's like I get that they wanted to differentiate it from Superman because Superman had fought like at this point Zod, so it's like I kind of get it, but it's like I just wish they had done a little something different.
Get a sec.
Yeah, it's fine. It's like I just wish they had done something a little bit like different and maybe a little bit better than what they did. That's just me.
Oh, I agree.
That's just me, honestly. But there's a lot that there's like, but yeah, but let us know by your thoughts in the chat on Supergirl as we discuss this. But yeah, but moving on. And by the way, in terms of Supergirl, you guys can also help me by backing Athena, the goddess of thunder. Magic happens a lot in Superman comics. I think it was a pretty smart play to set this one apart. Execution wasn't great, but the idea was there. Yeah, I guess it's like if it didn't revolve around a love potion, I wouldn't have been as like, what? Because the minute they start using a love potion, I'm like, now you're getting very stereotypical, guys. But yeah, In terms of so the other things that I really think is it like holds this movie back. Jared hates love confirmed. No, I hate love that involves Lois Lane. Just kidding. But it's like no, it's just because the love potion thing I think is very stereotypical, and I'm like, why would you? I'm like, of course the movie with the girl superhero has to involve a love potion. Like, what are you doing? Like, to me, this just doesn't work. I'm sorry. It's not one of my, it's not a thing that I really like, that I really buy. Let me put it that way. I don't buy it. But yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah. It's like, okay. But it's, and then you get the whole, the dude is like in love with Linda Lee. And then somehow he finds out through a kiss that that's Kara. And the part where Kara starts to try and kiss her reflection, I'm like, I get what they're trying to show, but it does not work.
Talk about being narcissistic.
Yeah, I know, exactly.
But again, yeah. But we said, compared to it's better than Superman 4, but on par with 3.
Oh yeah, exactly. By the way,
in that,
is it true Brainiac was supposed to be the villain? I don't think so.
No, that was 3 where he could have been. They wanted him to be.
Yeah, Legion. I don't use a love potion, so that's why. That's why, because I think love potions are like overdone and honestly don't work anymore.
Agreed.
At least in my opinion, you will never see me use a love potion in any of my comics. But
right.
By the way, Cameron, the amount of times that Brainiac has been included in a Superman script,
he was always the most logical second or third antagonist.
Well, here's the thing: it's like again, I will give. It's like if for some reason something happens and Man of Tomorrow ends up not coming.
Hello.
Out, I'm here. If I'm here. If for some reason Superman, if for some reason, yeah, we need George Miller's Justice League. Yeah, exactly. But in terms of like, yeah, but it's like the amount of times, Robert's having internet issues. The amount of times that they have tried to put, because here's the thing about Brainiac: if Man of Tomorrow does not come out, I would advise people do not include Brainiac in any movies because otherwise.
Sorry.
What's up, Rob? It's okay.
So, but I said we agree. Brainiac is the most logical second or third villain after Zod and Luthor.
I wouldn't put him more as a third, but I think he's fine to put as a second. But I was telling people, I would if for some reason Man of Tomorrow does not come out, I would tell them do not include Brainiac. It's a curse.
It is. Because that was supposed to be Superman Returns 2. That was supposed to be Man of Steel 2.
That was supposed to be Superman 5.
Yep. Or Superman 3. And you know another version of Superman 3 we could have gone was Bizarro.
Well, did you know that also in the version with Brainiac, it was supposed to be Kara was like a companion of Brainiac, and Brainiac was in love with her, but Kara falls in love with Superman. They're not related. I want to be clear on this in the movie. And it's the Alabama world.
Sweet home Alabama.
Yeah, exactly. But so Brainiac gets jealous of Superman, and that's why he tries to destroy Superman. Yes, that's right.
Stupid!
I know, right? I'm like, why would you do that?
Again, it tells you these people, if they weren't Mankiewicz and Donner, they had no idea what they were doing.
Well, here's the thing: when you look at these Superman lives, here's the interesting thing about that, because here's the thing about Superman Lives. So Kevin Smith, when he did his script, he approached it like a comic book fan. In fact, he got a job. He got the job because Warner Brothers liked that he owned that he was a comic book guy. The thing is like when they
John Peters is the most incompetent producer.
Well, yeah, but the other thing is like when you move on past that, it's like then you get to like when then Kevin was like fired because they didn't want it to be too far in the comic books. What you have to understand is that studio executives do not like it when people are too adherent to the source material, as in the case of Henry Cavill.
Well, it's not just that. From what I also understood, part of the other reason is also because Burton wanted to have his own writing team.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that too. But it's like the other thing. It's my point is, it's like even with Burton. By the way, Burton is not a comic book person. He just happened by accident to have gotten Batman right.
Yeah, and he understood at least enough about Batman to tell them, "I want this, not this."
Yeah, exactly. So it's like that's why he got Batman pretty well, in my opinion.
But then look at what happened when he got absolute control was returned. Look at what happened then.
Yeah, exactly. And then Cam says, why? It would make the money if they at least stick close to source material. Because a lot of creatives don't like putting limits on what they can do in a story.
And here's something else. I always remember Jeff Johns bringing up this story. He and Richard Dunn were trying to pitch a Green Lantern movie. And after they went through this whole spiel, what was the first thing that the executive asked? Does he really need a ring? Can it be like a wristband or something? Yeah, and that's when they just walked out then.
Well, the other thing is too many.
I'm not kidding. Does he really need the ring?
Well, yeah, but it's the thing about these executives that everyone wants to put their impact on something to say, oh my gosh, it's see, I did that. But it's if you stick close to the source material, there's not a lot of room for them to do that. Exactly.
But the fact that you're an executive ask, does he really need a ring?
Well, remember, we also have the execs that had gone, Man of Steel, don't destroy his ship. How is he supposed to get back to Krypton?
Now, again, my argument still for that is they were probably people who still thought they were working on the Abrams script.
Until I get other evidence for that, I'm just going to assume they were incompetent.
Well, that too.
That too. Honestly, here's the thing, Robert. Both are probably true in this case.
Yeah, because it's at least if that's the case, you can still then make the argument they just didn't check the other script.
Yeah. Oh, and Legion brings up a good point. It is the same thing in comics as well, because particularly with, I would say, the more recent crop of writers, especially at Marvel, they want to put their stamp on the character instead of contributing something that fits with the character.
That's my argument about. That's part of the problem why you don't always go for the brand spanking new talent and give them so much creative freedom.
Yeah, they expect it. Now, there are times when going with brand new talent can work. If you talk to them and they clearly have a respect for the source material.
Yeah, that's fine.
I would say, okay, fine, we'll give you a shot. But if it's the average person, no.
Yeah, again, that's mostly Marvel where they're just hey, you worked on kid books. Come on over here.
Now, here's the other thing. You do have occasions when people that seem to have a solid take on the character can't write the character, as with BMB on Superman.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you hear him talk about it, BMB gets Superman. It's just he can't articulate it.
Yep.
That's the thing. And it's even when you're reading his actual run, it's there's good here. It's just it's not popping out.
Yep.
I'm just what the hell? Or it's I'm not. Or it's with Wonder Woman. I'm not talking about Tom King, because there are plenty of other writers that have done this, where they're well, Robert and I know there's someone that we've interacted with, or at least I've interacted with. Robert knows what I'm talking about. That it's the prime example.
Yep.
Where you don't go to fans straight to fans for pure ideas and just go with it. It's someone wanted me to take a look at a script that would deal with introducing Wonder Boy into the comics, but it severely contradicts DC lore. His excuse, they could change that. They could change that just willy-nilly.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm that's not the way, because here's the thing. There are plenty of things that I would love to change about DC Comics, especially Superman and Wonder Woman. Would love to and are capable of doing are two very different things.
And here's what this guy made Tom King look tolerable.
I was saying, I actually, Robert and I were talking about this. You guys know I hate Tom King's Wonder Woman. That looks like Zack Snyder's Justice League compared to this.
Uh-huh.
I watch this and I'm not gonna harp on it, but the point is, it's this is why you need to screen people. Marvel does not have a good screening process. Remember, even the movies, they consider it a red flag, as in they will not hire you. Back in the day, I'm not sure if that's still a thing. Back in the day, it was considered they will not hire you if you know the comics because they want other perspectives. And I'm like, but you're making comic book movies.
Mm-hmm.
And Legion. No, I'm just bashing his Wonder Woman run. I'm not bashing his other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that's the point there. But it's like, look, Marvel it's like, here's the thing. Again, all of Marvel's issues, pun intended, can be traced to the fact that they're like, we're Marvel, they'll buy our stuff anyway. Who cares?
And how's that working out for them?
Yeah, exactly. Oh, how many trades were in the top 50 list of you, Marvel? One, and it's the universe.
Top 50. I didn't know. I didn't know it was top 10.
Okay, so in the top 10, and it's the Spider-Man book you're nuking.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that it? Maybe you should nuke it.
Uh-huh.
I don't get this, but anyway, back to Supergirl. The thing about this, the reason why this is better than 4 is because this story actually, for some reason, actually makes sense. It's like it structurally makes sense and stuff. There's comic booky stuff, but it's nowhere near as stupid as collecting nuclear bombs in a giant net and throwing them into the sun.
Now, to be fair, that was because of Reed himself.
No, I know, but there are other ways that Superman could dispose of nuclear bombs.
Well, I know, but I agree completely. You know what? One thing that really bothers me about that movie?
What?
Oh, I'm going to review myself the lowest so I can talk to her and then take away the memory again with the memory erasing kiss. Do you realize how much that's going to mess her up?
Yeah, when she inevitably remembers, you know what that's going to lead to? She is going to have a mental break like Wonder Woman in Rebirth.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, honestly, that would also be an interesting idea for a storyline, but it's like, that's not nice.
But that's using her.
Yeah, that's also you. Yeah, exactly. That's something that Superman. I say this as someone that loathes Lois Lane. Superman would never do that.
But he did in that movie.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, and how did he reveal? Just walked off a building the rooftop with her.
Yeah, exactly.
I think I'll just kill you now, Lois.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I might as well just murder you. But it's like, that's the other point there, and it's like and it's yeah. I'll ask me the brother. I know, Legion. I love you, brother. But it's like when you get to Supergirl, at the very least, I'm like, okay, at the very least, you can tell at least they had some attachment to. Here's the thing. Here's the other thing. Here's the part that makes this superior to the Supergirl CW show. This feels like Supergirl and not just female Clark.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's one of the major issues with the Supergirl show is that it's just Clark Kent, but with boobs essentially.
Now, I'll be honest, I started after season 1. After.
Well, let's talk about that. So she works for a newspaper conglomerate. There's someone that's kind of mean-ish. Well, it's a more mean version of Perry White. And who shows up?
Jimmy.
Exactly.
Well, not Jimmy. Not Jimmy.
This is CW Jimmy.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I love Robert, not Jimmy. What would you say the impact on Kara's future portrayals after this? Well, this is also, here's the thing. This is also why people were wary when the Wonder Woman movie was announced, because it was this, then Catwoman made executives very hesitant.
And Elektra.
And Elektra as well made executives very hesitant for female superhero movies because they're like, because here's the thing about Hollywood executives. They only think in terms of when was this done before, but they think of it very simplistically. They're not thinking of the other factors that contributed to this Elektra or Catwoman failing.
Exactly.
They're just like, oh, it failed. That's why, again, to my fellow Snyder fans, if you think that if Gunn stuff fails, they're going to go back to Zack, that's not going to happen.
I hate to say it. They look at that universe as mostly a failure.
And again, it may not. It's not necessarily Zach's fault, but it's this way. Regardless of that, because I think that I'm not going to go that far. But in terms of like, look, they will just go. Okay, you know what? Maybe we should put out less DC content. And maybe take a break from the whole maybe superheroes have run their course, and then we'll just get occasional Batman movies.
Now I'll say that I'm going with Tom King's Supergirl. I get why they're going with it.
Because that's like one of the biggest like Supergirl books in a while. Now, she has other stories that they could have gone, but I get why they went with it.
It's very much not Clark with boobs.
Yeah, well, yeah, very much so. Now, the thing about it that I was watching, I was on a stream actually last night, and we were talking about it, that the thing about it is that we all hope that it's not just all Tom King projects or Tom King associated projects. Like, I get that he's a
I don't think it is.
Now, it's not, when I say that, it's not because I don't like Tom King. That's part of it. But it's also the fact that in this universe, Gunn promised there'll be multiple creative visions.
Agreed. Now, remember, though, the more Tom King's involved, the more likely he's to get off of Wonder Woman.
That's the one part where I'm like, involve him. And no, I'm like, yes, give him the whole universe if you have to get him off the Wonder Woman. But Tom King's Woman Tomorrow is great, debatable. I'm not getting those vibes. So far from the movie trailer, it looks like they improved it. So that's why I'm also like, okay, I may enjoy this movie. We'll see.
Yep.
Oh, and also, or they go back to releasing single movies that they used to, but I doubt that. Yeah, it really depends. But it's like, now again, in terms of if this movie is good, they could, like, if the Supergirl movie is successful, it could be they do other Supergirl stories.
Mm-hmm.
Like, hey, since Tom King is establishing Darkseid, they could do at least part of Apocalypse, like the kidnapping by Darkseid part.
They could.
And then that's a Trinity movie. That's how you could do that.
Maybe.
Yeah, improved it. Looks like they just churched it up with a club or cars and extra jokes. That's crazy. I think improved it because it's not as annoying, but that's just me.
And it's not feeling like True Grit.
Yeah, because the book is a rip off of True Grit. But anyway, but it's like that's the point there, because if we get that, because then they'll be like, okay, Supergirl's out. Because here's the other thing you have to understand: Supergirl is also the other character that was named as one of the pillars of DC. It was Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Supergirl. Of the characters they could have named, like, there was someone that was thinking of naming Harley Quinn. And I'm like, I'm so glad they didn't say Harley Quinn.
By the way, I gotta say, I'm so glad Wonder Woman came out before Captain Marvel. Could you imagine what would happen if Captain Marvel was the new female movie standard?
Oh, God. They would have said, make it like Captain Marvel. And I'm like, oh, my God.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and debatable Legion, but okay. I'm nervous about the Harvey cast. Oh, you mean like the Winter Harvey?
Yeah.
I'm just saying, but yeah, but in terms of continuing on with Supergirl, the other thing that I think is interesting about this movie is that this is also around the point where, yes, the Superman movies had dodgy CGI, but even from 3 and on,
well, it wasn't even CGI; it was just effects in general.
Yeah, it's like effects. Yeah, yes, they had dodgy effects. Some of it, like maybe some of it doesn't age well. But this just takes that to a whole nother level.
By the way, I will say this, though. The fact that this did lead to, at the start of Jeff Loeb's Supergirl story, the meeting those 3 guys.
Yeah. That was the reference in Jeff Loeb, and I'm like, okay, I could definitely see that, and I didn't know that, but it's like it works, because that's what I immediately thought of when that scene came on in the movie.
And I confirmed it to him. That was based off of that, but they made it a little darker in the comic.
Well, yeah, exactly. And Tom King did an encore interview Woman of Tomorrow released, on which he likes True Good and wrote a DC version of it. So is that a recent interview? Because if it is, that's just him
embracing.
What?
Embracing what everyone said about it.
Yeah, so it's like if it's one that came out when the book came out, then that's another thing.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, the point is, it's like, oh, okay, I'm like, oh, that's very interesting. I appreciate I appreciate that type of reference where it's like, yeah, it was a reference to the Supergirl movie. And I'm like, okay, that's the thing. Oh, it came out before issue 1. Okay, that's interesting. I didn't know.
All right.
Okay, fine.
So if he's upfront about it, then I give him a bit more respect for there.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, fine. That actually works a little better. But the point is like with this, it's like I could also see, by the way, if this movie is the reason why they went with Woman of Tomorrow, because they went with the Supergirl storyline or version that had the most positive opinions, if you will.
I think they went with it because they looked at it and realized this makes the most sense for an early age Supergirl.
Yeah, exactly. So it's
we said that last time we talked about it. One thing we will say is this works better for a Supergirl who just showed up and it's just bombarded by what happened with Krypton.
Because here's the thing. Yes, they could have done the actual Jeff Lowe book, but the problem with doing that is that
too much tied in the dark side.
And you have to introduce Superman and Wonder Woman. I mean, Wonder Woman and Batman.
Well, you don't have to.
They're kind of important in that book.
But you could just use the general idea.
Let me put it this way. If you do the dark side capturing her part only...
Oh, yes. Agreed. I will agree with that.
If you do the whole book, then it's like, no, you need the entire Trinity cast.
I agree. And let's be honest, nobody wants the whole, you shall be my secret weapon. No one wants that. Absolutely. Yeah.
By the way, you want to laugh. So Kathleen Kennedy, when she was leaving, did a thing talking about how Ryan Johnson was spooked about the backlash. And Ryan Johnson, within a half hour of that interview publishing, said, no, I wasn't.
I think Ryan Johnson's kind of distancing himself from Star Wars now that Kathleen's gone.
Yeah. But I love where he goes, I wasn't spooked.
Of course, he could be in denial.
He could be in denial and trying to protect his reputation, but I think that was really funny. How fast it came out. I was like, oh, okay.
No, I wasn't.
No, I wasn't. He goes, not spooked at all, LOL. That's funny. I love that. I love that. But yeah, in terms of where this movie comes, and then it's like, again, I like how they explain how Superman is not in this movie. They're like, how he wouldn't be able to respond. Oh yeah, he's like negotiating an intergalactic peace in another galaxy.
Which is like, so wait, the Superman actually does go into space?
I mean, he did that in the movie, in the other movies, though.
No, he didn't. He flew up. The most he ever did was go into the atmosphere.
Oh yeah, this is before 4.
Even 4. Even 4. Even 4. They only went as far as throwing the stuff into the moon, into the sun, and going on the moon. They didn't go anywhere else.
They flew in space, though.
Yeah, but only as far as the moon.
Yeah, so it's like.
Okay. There's other planets.
I guess that makes sense.
That line right there opens up so much can of worms.
Yeah, I'm like, so you could have had space in there. Okay.
Sorry, okay. Wait. Okay, question. Have you ever heard of the game Command and Conquer?
Of course.
Space!
Yes! And
I had to. I know, I had to do Tim Curry. Space!
Yeah, exactly.
I couldn't resist. Anytime, you know what? I gotta get you that clip. Hold on.
Yeah, if you get me the clip, I'll include it.
Yeah, you gotta make that a clip on your show. Hold on.
Particularly, I'm gonna talk about Green Lantern. I could say space.
Hey, come on! It's Tim Curry.
Yes, send it to me, and I'll include it on my next live stream we do on space stuff.
Do you want me to also resend you the Hell It's About Time?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
All right.
Robert, how would you rate this movie out of 10?
6. 6. Yeah. 5 to a 6. 5 to a 6.
I'd say 5-6, anywhere in there. Yeah, exactly.
Hold on.
If they said he's on a league mission, would that have been better? No, because they haven't established the Justice League.
Hold on. Here's the link. So you can just do it just this one time.
I'm gonna wait. I'll wait.
All right, all right.
But yeah, but it's like it's like Cameron. It would have confused people even more because it's like why didn't the Justice League respond?
Well, no, back then they wouldn't even have considered that. Back then they would not even consider doing referencing anything.
I'm just saying if they had the league, he's on a league mesh, and I'm like, since when is the Justice League a thing in this world yet?
I know that's the thing. That would be crazy for them to even do that. Because they don't have a Batman, they don't have anything. They probably here's the thing. They wouldn't even consider that because they don't have the rights. They didn't have the rights.
Yeah.
To be fair, also the reason why they couldn't use Brainiac or Bizarro, they didn't have the rights to them.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, by the way, Jason Aaron, speaking of Superman, is teasing that 2 pivotal characters are coming to Absolute Superman, one of which his last name is Zod.
Yeah. Here's something else. You know that Zod, that's the other reason why Zod wasn't Jax Ur. It's because they didn't have the rights to him.
Yeah, because here's the thing. It's like the Salkinds only had the rights to Superman stuff.
Superman, the main stuff in Action #1, it's the update on the powers, and Lex.
Yeah, exactly. So it's not like they could have said, "Oh, there's Batman over there" or something like that. It's different than in Batman and Robin when he goes. Batman. One of them, actually, it was Batman and Robin, where he goes, "This is
why Superman works alone."
That's a different thing. Yeah.
You know what? I still wish. I would say, as much as I love when people do the actual video edits, not the AI edits, but video edits that pair up Reeves with Keaton.
Mm-hmm.
And they have Linda Carter, of course, because that's the only Wonder Woman. I know that people they will put Linda Carter with either Reeves and Keaton or George Reeves and West.
Aren't the comics for Linda Carter's Wonder Woman in the
West one?
Yeah, and by Legion. Okay, bro, thanks. We moved on from that talking point. I don't know why you're so hung up on this.
Oh no, he tries to say he got the source.
Yeah, but we moved on from that. But it's like
we moved on. Yeah, we moved on. Moving on. Next question.
Yeah. So let's open it up. Any questions that you guys have about Supergirl? Our expectations.
No, but I would say this, especially after going back over this, there's no way that that Woman of Tomorrow is going to be any worse than this.
There's no way. I will be honestly impressed if it's worse.
Yep.
That will be an achievement in and of itself if somehow that is worse.
There's no way. I'll say this, if they're using Woman of Tomorrow, there's no way.
Yeah, I want to say that, but
I will give King that. I will give King that.
Mm-hmm.
Basing
Woman of Tomorrow is definitely not worse.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like
again, there's a lot of times where you gotta give King props.
Yeah, but then I read his Wonder Woman book and I'm like, no.
I know.
But yeah, so Q&A. Anything you guys would like to talk about as it relates to Supergirl, the Superman family? By the way, so for Super Pals, we are going to be talking about the Death and Return, and then I think it's the week after that we're going to do all of the canceled Superman movies.
By the way, you know what today? Who just turned 100 today?
Who?
Mel Brooks.
Hey, there you go.
I am so glad they did that. I know they just did that documentary about him being 99. They probably did that because they knew, okay, he's a 99 curly. Will he make it to 100? We don't know.
And he made it to 100. There you go.
Yep. I cannot wait for Spaceballs 2.
That's going to be so...
You know my joke? You know what my joke for the name would have been?
What?
Spaceballs 3 and whatever the hell happened to Spaceball 2. Or the search for Spaceballs 2.
Or Spaceballs 3, don't ask. That would be hilarious.
But like everyone else, I'm like, they should call it Spaceballs 2, the search for more money.
No, they should call it Spaceballs 2, the Schwartz Awakens.
Yeah, but come on, they already set up the title in the last one.
I know. That's still happening. Yes, it is. And we got the trailer, and they talk about Star Wars. They make fun of the sequel trilogy and stuff. And I'm like, okay, that's good. I like that.
Now here's the big. You know what the fun, interesting thing about that? You know what? I was looking back over Spaceballs, and I rewatched the Nostalgia Critics review that he had with Hats Off Entertainment. Did you ever see that video?
No.
I find it interesting how there he more compares it. This is less Spaceballs is less of a hard parody like a Young Frankenstein, and more of one of those thematic general parodies. Like it's more comparable to The Princess Bride.
That's true.
Where it has its own world. You could tell what type of thing they're parodying, but it's not like a hardcore, this is this, that is that.
Yeah, but Alimenta as favorite version of Supergirl. It's a tie between Peter David and New 52.
For me, it is. I would say Peter. You've been catching up on the Peter David stuff with my videos.
I need to.
Then why are you saying that if you haven't?
Because I read the first.
The first trade.
Because I got the DC Finest one, and I have the next one on pre-order.
I am so glad they're doing those.
It's about time. It's a great run.
Now, wait. I think they might be asking.
Supergirl, understandable.
But by complicating it further, though.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Now, I think they may favorite movie adaptation or media adaptation.
If it's
to which I would say DCAU is my favorite.
Either that or the Tomorrowverse.
Or the Tomorrowverse. But what Tomorrowverse, they were so brief. That was so brief.
She got a movie.
She got a movie and a half.
She got a movie. That counts.
Yep, and Josie Campbell.
Yep, exactly. So I'm trying to get. So back in the day when I was trying to convince Britt that Jeremy Adams would write a great Wonder Woman, all Jid and I had to say was he was one of the writers of Justice Society World War II, and then she's like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah, the other one was Megan Fitzmartin.
Yeah, but at least we had a little Jeremy Adams to offset that.
True, and as we've already saw with Ruby Justice League, she actually can do solid.
Yeah, so it's like that's not really that. Let me put it this way: I enjoyed the movie, but by Supergirl or Power Girl, who wins in a fight?
Power Girl for experience.
And if we're going off of the multiversal Power Girl, because the kryptonite on this earth doesn't work on her.
Well, there's that too. Oh yeah. Man! So I just double checked. My the Wonder Woman Odyssey video didn't do so good.
Yeah, it's an obscure Wonder Woman story, so that's probably why.
That could be it. Although I did get Phil Hester to like my stuff.
There you go. But Legion says, love Jeremy Adams. Done a few streams with him. And nicest guy ever. Yeah, he seems
Yep, I've done it too. I've had him on a couple of times too.
He seems like the nicest guy in the world.
He is.
And one of the
by the way, yeah, another shout out, guys. Check out my the PTN I did with Jared.
Do it. Yeah, exactly. I'm looking forward to his Nightfall films. Yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah. I cannot wait.
I love how Twitter was trying to cancel him because they asked him if Tim Drake Robin is going to be in there, and he goes, "Yeah, the original Tim Drake Robin was the GOAT." And they were like, "Oh, he doesn't like the bike, Tim Drake."
That's not what he said. That's not even remotely what he said.
Number one, and number two. That's not the version of Robin that was in that period. He's going for pure.
For them, they're thinking he should retroactively retcon things.
And I'm like, Adams is not the type of guy to retroactively do that.
Nope, he's not. He is most definitely not.
Yeah, it's the same reason why he didn't have John Kent as a boy have like gay bi tendencies in the Super Son.
Oh, by the time when that movie came out, that didn't happen yet.
Oh, that didn't happen yet. Okay, I forgot about that. All right.
But even then, he wouldn't have anyway.
He wouldn't have anyway. In my opinion, the DCAU gave us the best modern take on Supergirl. Oh yeah,
but without her being the whole. By going under the not another Kryptonian until Justice League, where they soft rebooted that.
How did they? What was their origin in Aztecs?
They think it was the Argo City thing, but it had nothing to do with It had nothing to do with Krypton. It was more like a similar species.
So it was essentially Planet Argo.
Yeah, but it was just a floating city. It's like she was put in stasis and was found.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah,
But again,
that still works.
yeah, but then they retconned it and Justice League say, nope, she was always Kryptonian because by that point they could.
Yeah, at that point, that the whole rule had like been like, nope, you can do it.
You know what? I will still always give props to Post Crisis. They kept so much of those edicts going a lot longer than you would think.
Yeah, and they still managed to incorporate a lot of stuff despite the edicts. That's the thing about it.
Yeah, because again, those edicts were there for a reason.
Yeah, it's like the whole Kryptonian thing because it's like they still wanted Superman to be called the last son of Krypton, and if there's like a ridiculous amount of Kryptonians,
which there was,
there was a horse. So they're like, no, nah, get rid of it.
Yeah, and because again, it became much easier to count on your list of who didn't survive. And I said, technically, Jor-El and Laura are alive.
Oh yeah.
We got so many Zod. Yeah, they did. If I would say this, the Joe Kelly version of Zod, where he was that Russian who actually had was given visions by the dead Phantom Zone version of Zod, still made sense.
Yeah, and also they could have also made her a Daxamite.
Daxamite, I don't think they want. That's true, but when they initially start, no, what? Ooh, one. She'd have the weakness to lead. No, wait. She would have had the irreversible weakness to lead.
Yeah, and Elementa, I know that, but they still lumped it in with that.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if it's not Krypton. They basically wanted Superman to be the only super person, but when you got to like Matrix Supergirl, they're like, she's not Kryptonian, she's a weird goop monster.
From a pocket dimension created by that universe's Lex Luthor.
Yeah, so it's different. I swear.
Like,
oh my! When you look at what they had to deal with, I'm like, oh my god. It's a wonder you got some good stories. Never mind a lot.
But if I say it again, they made it work because the writing was strong.
Yeah, exactly. You still had competent writers that understood what they were doing.
They understood the assignment. And you had an editor who, again, very strict. But let's put it this way. He's had vision. He definitely had. He definitely had a strong vision. Say what you will about Carlin, right?
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. No, I like Carlin because here's why. I like when there's a clear plan, a clear through line. Among all these different, because the fact that he could keep 4 books on target,
5 quarterly. You had a quarterly too.
Oh yeah, 5 books on target, telling a coherent story among all of them, that deserves to be recognized.
Yep, and again, you can also understand why. Again, given you had so many people who wanted to undermine and just move things back to pre-crisis so fast.
Well, it's like when you explain to me the story, the actual story behind like that pitch. I'm like, no.
I'd be pissed off too.
I'm like, while I like some of the story elements, it's fine. You cannot undermine your boss.
Exactly, especially when he was on vacation.
Yeah, that is the part where it's one thing if you want to shake up the status quo and everything like that, and you believe in your idea. But again, you do not go behind your boss's back.
Yeah, and again, they should be lucky that they were like I say, Morrison got too big for Mike to do anything about it. Millar was already stepping away, and Red Sun was the only thing that was still in the works.
And then Wade was like away for so long.
But by that point, it was like once Carlin was gone, it was when he was allowed in.
Yeah,
and then Tom Pryor didn't really do much.
Yeah, and then Elementa says, "I'm glad people have softened on crypto existing because during that period, people wanted that dog dead when he came back in the 2000s."
Really?
Did they? I don't remember.
That is new. That is news to me.
Yeah, I didn't know people
were rooted for him coming back. They were happy he came back when Lowe brought him back.
Yeah. How were they even allowed to do that? Like the higher up should have fired them after finding out the
Well, again, it was a different editor in charge. Okay, by this point, Carlin had become executive editor, kind of like what the deal was. In fact, he held the job until the deal showed up. It was the then Superman writer who was trying to work out because they wanted to shake things up. So you had these other writers come up with a pitch, and then they were trying to execute it while he was busy because they knew Carlin would have put his foot down. Or at the very least, they were dumb enough to think, oh, once we get it all ready and good to go, we'll show it to him, and then of course he'll be happy about it.
Yeah, by the way, I love Carlin because he's the one that said, oh, people came up to me, I can't believe you're killing Superman. He goes, when was the last time you read Superman?
Yeah, because that was the reason. People have to remember, even when they had that many books, Superman, they were always fighting to stay relevant.
Yeah, and he's like, I didn't kill Superman, you did. So it's like, wait a minute. It's like, hey, if you don't water a plant, it's gonna die.
And I'll always remember when he's talking, reminiscing about the meeting that led to the death of Superman. It was the whole yeah. It's like, so I then went, okay, wise guys, if we kill him, what happens next? I just always loved it. Like, okay, wise guys. It's just the way he said it.
Here's the thing. This is what I love about that. He was immediately thinking of, okay, let's say we do kill him. What does the universe look like afterwards? It's like when Scott Snyder said he doesn't do events unless they have a discernible impact on DC on the line after the event.
Which is because look at something like Gotham War that had nothing.
Yeah, exactly. It's like the best events, like even Death Metal, for all of its problems, had effects. Wonder Woman was dead. There was some weird time stuff, but it's like the absolute universe was technically created. So it's like there was a lot of long-standing effects on that. Even with Death of Superman, there was a lot of effects on that.
Exactly.
So it's like, no, and that's my point. And honestly, that's why DC, while DC does still do event after event after event, they do less than Marvel because they're more discerning on on when to do events.
Exactly.
Like even, what was by the way, you may be wondering, what were the what was the long-term effects of Absolute Power? The Justice League came back.
Yep.
No, I'm like, that's...
Some of the powers were out of whack. It didn't last long.
No, I'm talking about Absolute Power.
Oh, yeah.
And Amanda Waller's in prison.
Well, no. As I was saying, some of the powers were out of whack after Absolute Power,
and
remember?
Some of the powers were out of whack, exactly, that too. Or it's like, we were yesterday, a bunch of heroes are time displaced. And
that also led the groundwork for what ended up happening with DCKO.
And and I will always say, while I'm not enjoying everything of KO, the idea of using the time displaced heroes as the Justice League right now is
even they're expendable.
I know. But regardless, it's genius because it's like you could still use Superman like Aquaman. Do I wish they would have used Perez as Wonder Woman? Hell yeah, but you know what? I'll take this.
I'll take it. And
they ended up doing a unintended tribute to Peter David's Aquaman.
Exactly.
So I'm like, okay, I actually really like how that turned out. So it's like, again, it's like when you look at all these, because here's the thing with Marvel, besides, what was the effect of Doom?
Nothing. Well, to be fair, we don't know how that's going to play up into what's it called? Armageddon.
Well, let me put it this way. Short of the Venom book, what was the effect of King in Black?
Nothing.
Exactly. I love King in Black. Don't get me wrong. It was a badass Venom event. But ultimately, in my mind, an event that affects the entire universe cannot only have effects in one book.
Agreed.
It's like even with Death of Superman. Here's the thing about and a preview for this week's Super Palace. Here's what makes Death of Superman great as an event. It's a book. It's an event that really only it takes place in one line of books, but it affects the entire universe.
Agreed.
That's where I'm like, okay, that actually works because It takes you only have to read a small amount of books, and then it's like, but you can still feel the effects in all of the other things.
Agreed.
So I'm like, okay, that actually works. By the way, I think that's a good place to leave it. So we had a great discussion. Again, 5 to 6 out of 10 for Supergirl. We'll figure out what we're going to talk about next week. In terms of Super Wonder Legacy coming out on Monday, Britt and I are going to be talking about how Superman and Wonder Woman can be portrayed in the DCU, in other words, the movie universe. As I haven't figured out Wonder Woman Wednesday or the next 102 Capes. Be sure to back Athena, the Goddess of Thunder, issue 1. We're 75% funded, so hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
How about you, dude?
Got links down below, getting a whole bunch of... I'm trying to get more videos in the can so I can make it up to at least 666.
Hell yeah. That's going to be a hell of a Halloween episode thing. Hell of a late Halloween episode.
Well, it couldn't be helped. Couldn't be helped. I'm still going to do something creepy for that by doing iZombie.
Or you could have done Batman 666.
I'm not going to do one issue for something like that.
That's true. That's true. That's true. That's very true.
Yeah, that is not something I'm going to dedicate one issue to.
Yeah. So anyway, stay heroic, everyone. Remember, Lois Lane is Lois Lane, and we will see you guys later. Happy comic reading.